The agents investigate the strange death of a young man who was bitten by vanishing snakes.
They enter a struggle between good and evil. The only question is, whose side are they on?
This is not happening.
Are you afraid of snakes?
You know what? No, I know the segue you're going to go for, but I am going to back up on that. That is not the only question. That is not the only question in this episode.
Okay, all right. So Andrew is live for everyone, taking issue with the intro I wrote that he proofread and is now telling me it's not good enough.
No, the intro is fine. It just begs more questions than it answers. And the real question that I am going to be like a snake with a bone on in this episode. Uh-oh. Why the hell are the agents here?
The vanishing snakes.
I know.
I spelled it all out for you. We just read it.
But you just read it, Andrew. That is why they're here. Duh.
That is why they're here.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So I would love to hear your opinion right off the bat here. What is wrong with this?
I love the idea of the report they're going to file on this intervention that they did down in Tennessee. And Skinner is going to look at that and go, why are you in Tennessee? Why did you decide to pursue this case at all? I mean, what is the Federal Bureau of Investigation doing on this case?
Vanishing snakes? That's a problem. Especially in the South.
Problem for wildlife. They bring the ATF or something. It is not an FBI thing.
I think, I don't know, man. If someone died by 116 snake bites in his car and not nary a scale was found, I'd be calling the police.
Okay.
I'd be calling Fox Mulder.
Well, the police are also notably absent from this episode, so you can't go there.
Can't go there.
I would say what's missing. And listen, we're going right into it right now. Possibly going, backwards from the end.
Let's just give our final thoughts now.
Final thoughts. I'll just go into it. I'm actually a little ticked off with this episode because of this.
Oh no!
They usually do a much better job with the lead into the episode, like why the agents are there. What has brought them to this moment? I remember in the glory days of season 1 when Scully would say, did you read this funny story in the paper? And that would be enough for them to go. Or something would be slipped under their door, or Mulder has a friend who's a snake expert or something, which has called them here. But this is such a flyer. This is like, how on earth does Mulder find out about snake death in Tennessee? Sure, it's a little bit unconventional. 116 snake bites is a lot of snake bites. But this strains the credulity that I would have for the temple of good writing that is the X-Files.
So I got a question for you.
Go for
it. Last week we did The Amazing Malini.
Oh, I remember it just like it was a few minutes ago.
Like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. It's still fresh in my mind. Go ahead.
It's so fresh. So I'm the one who was naysaying that one, and you were waving the wand of, oh, don't worry about it. Is it because it was a lighthearted episode that you treat it so haphazardly?
I think if Ricky Jay was in Signs and Wonders, I would probably have a much different opinion of it. If they had a few card tricks in this episode instead of snakes, I probably would give it a pass.
Instead of snake babies.
Yeah. I know that Jeffrey Bell really wanted to make a scary snake episode, and God bless him. It's time to get back to a little horror themed. It does have its moments, but every moment I was until murder number 2, and I go, okay, well now it's a serial case. I guess they're justified in being there. But up until that point, I'm like, A, where are the cops? And B, why are they here? That's all I'm thinking.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what do you say we go down to Blessin, Tennessee?
Nice.
Let's get started.
Let's open a bottle of snake oil and drink on in this episode.
What are you selling me, sir?
I'm literally selling you snake oil.
Well, thunder crashes on a stormy night, Andrew. We pull slowly into a small 2-story house in the woods. Inside, a severed snake rattler lies on some documents, medical test results. A young man, Jared Chirp picks up the paper and studies it. Angrily, he rips it in half and crumples it, tossing it unsuccessfully into the trash bin. He begins packing and muttering scripture and prayer to himself. He grabs his Bible and holds it. Inside, a picture of a beautiful blonde woman. This here sinner repents. Holy Ghost, move up on me. Lightning crashes once more, and a silhouetted figure can be seen just outside his window for a moment, and then it's gone. Missing the man outside his window, Jared grabs his revolver and ensures it's loaded. A snake rattles. He quickly leaves his residence. He enters his car and attempts to start it. As he fumbles with his keys, like Scully, he drops them to the floorboard. When he reaches for them, a snake rattles. His eyes grow wide as it slithers under his seat to block his keys. Jared reaches for his revolver, but another snake is there. Another and another appear. Coils of snakes now line his dashboard and briefcase. With a flicker of strength, he grabs his gun, shuffles off the rattlesnake upon it, and begins firing at the animals. Outside the car, we see flashes going off inside the vehicle as he empties the gun. Credits.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Always dropping the keys. I mean, that'll get you killed. That's just Scully.
If he has nothing to be panicked about, he's just starting his car. What's going on?
You know what, Mike? I think we need to go into Andrew's safety corner for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to join me over here in the corner?
Is it safe?
Yeah. It's what it's called. It's why it's called safety corner.
Okay. All right.
Do you know about the circle check? When you're driving a car in driver's ed, did you learn about the circle check?
The circle check. I'm trying to picture it now. Are you talking about like mirrors and adjustments and before you start the car?
Mike, performing a circle check before each trip helps identify any potential issues or hazards that may affect the safety of your journey.
Right.
By taking a few minutes to conduct this inspection, you can prevent breakdowns, accidents, and ensure a safer driving experience.
So, am I right or am I wrong?
You're kind of right. You're talking about
Okay.
when you're in the car.
mirror.
But no, literally,
Yes.
the first step of a circle check is to walk around your vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You got to check the tires. You got to test the lights. You got to examine the windshield and the mirrors. You got to inspect the fluid levels. You got to test the brakes.
Although, I will stop you right there.
Oh, go. Yeah.
No human does that.
I contend that if Mr. Chirp had spent 30 seconds before storming off in a huff, looked in his friggin' back seat for snakes, he'd be alive today.
They weren't there. I promise you that. I will give the episode that. They weren't there.
They were magic snakes.
Well, they are magic snakes. By the end of the episode, they appear and disappear at will.
Oh, fair. Okay. Well, I still contend that the circle check is generally a good idea, and I encourage all our listeners to always conduct a circle check before you go. Because here's another fun fact. If you have an enemy, they could very easily just stick a nail under your tire and you would just drive right over it.
In about 3 days, you'd have a flat tire.
You'd have, if it's a big ass nail, maybe you'd immediately have a flat. I hear you saying, modern tires, but saying, it's a good idea.
So is the intro not good anymore?
No, the intro's fine.
Okay. All right. It's okay if it's bad. I'm just curious. Without your circle jerk.
No. The intro is totally fine. It was really, listen, this is just the pre-credit sequence. Like once the agents show up, I'm going to go on a whole other tirade.
You keep this up, we are not going to get out of here before 7 or 8.
We got out here before 7. That would mean we spent like 10 minutes on the other episode. What'd you think of this one, Mike? It was fine. All right. Well, we're good. Thanks for listening.
Right. Yeah. Snakes were had, incest.
Yeah.
Or not.
It's a whole other episode. All right. I'm done with the pre-credit sequence. It has overstayed its welcome already.
Wow. I didn't think it was that bad, but okay.
I mean, I guess they're trying to do a lot here. Okay, you want me to-
seriously, this is where you're at with this episode? You're
No,
not fucking around?
it's fine. It is fine. It's
It's fine.
I knew as soon as he started studying scripture, it was going to be a religious theme. I thought, here we go again with Scully and religion. I will give it credit that they are not actually going to go there. It's not going to be
Thank
another
God.
Scully's faith is tested episode.
It's more like Mulder's faith is tested.
It kind of is for absolutely no reason as it happens.
Right?
But all I needed was for Mr. Chirp to start going, glory, amen. And I would have been right back there in
Season 7.
Orison.
Orison.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not that. So, yeah, it's trying
Although
to do
I'm noticing I'm getting the religious episodes somehow. I don't know how that happened, but
luck of the draw, sir.
here we are.
Here we are.
I think I did it to myself. All right. Well, in Mulder's office, he watches a video on his computer of a rattlesnake. As Scully enters, she sees he's on the phone. He finishes up and turns his monitor so she can see. He hands her a file for Jared Chirp. She opens it to photos of a deceased man, dirty, bloated, unrecognizable as the man from the previous scene. 116 different bite marks, 50 different snakes involved. He unloaded his gun into the car, and in the frantic moments, he even managed to shoot his own knee. Scully asks the million-dollar question, what happened to all the snakes? Not a scale was found, Andrew. He spoke to the herpetologist. He's stumped. Mulder's also struggling to piece this together. How would someone be able to do this? There's no physical evidence. But the bigger question is, why would anyone use poisonous snakes as a murder weapon? Scully mentions the symbolism of snakes in religion. Both feared and hated, snakes can mean a lot of things, including being satanic to the right people. So it's about here where Andrew's checked out.
Nope.
She's going to have a
no, I'm
come
not
to
checked out
daddy
yet.
moment.
Not yet.
Okay.
You know why?
Why is that?
They haven't left the office yet.
That's true.
They're allowed to
Once
talk about the case.
Let me shatter that dream right now.
Okay.
We go to the Blessing Community Church in Blessing, Tennessee.
They filed a Form 104 with A.D. Skinner, who's like, you know what?
They
this
did.
does feel like this does feel like
Disappearing
FBI
snakes,
business.
please. I want to go here. Well, we are now at a funeral for Jared. In the front row, the beautiful blonde woman, Gracie, sits crying with an older lady, Iris, comforting her. Gracie just sobs. Reverend Mackey comes up to them and tries to console her. He's in a better place now. They stand and walk to the coffin to pay their final respects. Outside, as the service moves into the graveyard, the agents meet up with the Reverend.
We apologize for our timing. We'd like to ask you a few questions about Jared Chirp.
I've already spoken to the sheriff about it, though I'm not sure that was a good idea.
Specifically, you had suspicions about the manner in which he died.
I should be the last one to point a finger or say a harsh word. Our church is founded on acceptance and tolerance of all people, all beliefs.
But
Before Jared joined us, he belonged to a fundamentalist congregation outside of town, the Church of God with Signs and Wonders. It practices snake handling.
As a sign of faith, worshippers handle deadly snakes or drink poison.
They believe that the Holy Spirit protects the righteous. Jared grew up in that church, but it is very difficult to walk away from a belief system that one is raised in. It takes great courage.
Why did he walk away?
He and Gracie, his girlfriend, left it together. They found that a rigid interpretation of the Bible was not for them, especially when it involves risking life and limb in the act of worship. But again, it is not for me to judge. I will say, however, that both Jared and Gracie were persecuted by the members of their former church. All this animus stems from their church leader, Enoch O'Connor.
animus enough to motivate a murder?
Oh my.
Oh, animus enough.
Animus enough. Well, later on, the agents arrive to the Church of Signs and Wonders. It resides off a dusty, gravelly road. In front of the building sits a rickety wooden sign that reads, "Look unto me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is none other." Isaiah 45:22. They get out of the car and note another wooden sign above the entrance, the Church of Signs and Wonders, underscored with one long snakeskin. Scully mentions the snake handling, and Mulder quips he knew a few Catholic schoolgirls who were very expert at it.
That apparently
it's a good
might
line.
be that might be a David Duchovny-ism. May not have actually been part of the script.
And I don't doubt that he knows that. They knock on the door and find that it creaks open. They introduce themselves.
Sorry, did you catch the boom operator?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It's very, very notable.
It's like, they're not alone here. There's a guy skipping out of the way wearing shorts.
Someone is not doing his job.
Yeah. Everybody missed that, right down to the editor.
Yep. The agents introduce themselves to a quiet and dark building, then step in. With flashlights, they look around. The shades are drawn. Scully keys in on a painting on the wall and criticizes the church's methods. Rattlesnakes and medieval visions of damnation. Well, I feel closer to God. Mulder here plays devil's advocate and offers maybe snake handling is no harder to buy than communion wafers or transubstantiation. I mean, this is the beginning of his let's
Conversion?
give religion a chance kind of episode. I don't know where he's going with this. Or
I would not say that he's giving a religion a chance.
No, I know he's not, but it's just everything he says regarding it is unusual for Mulder. In past episodes, he would scoff at the idea that there was any legitimacy to religion in general.
Remember, their role is to be antagonistic to each other.
No,
so
I
whatever one says, the other is going to,
So why isn't
check and
Scully the
balance.
one who's more of a believer?
Because this is weird Christianity we're seeing. This is not her style of godliness that we're walking
true.
into.
That is true. She is, if nothing else, a bigot in her
religious. 100%.
Yes. This isn't Catholicism.
Yeah.
These people are bastards.
Even Father Mackey, we don't know what version of Christianity he's preaching. Is it?
He's preaching all sorts of stuff.
Could be Anglicanism. For
Acceptance. Whew. Well, we all know churches accept everyone. So.
Yeah, it could be United. That could be it. Which
it could be.
Maybe didn't exist in 2000s Tennessee. Who knows?
Well, something catches Mulder's eye, and he continues investigating. Scully, however, heads the other way, and we see a snake slither by her feet, unnoticed. As they come back together to see a wooden box and a mesh screen, in the darkness they are snapped out of investigating by the loud rattling of an unseen foe. Both agents draw their weapons and scan the room, catching glimpses of a snake on the floor, then another. The two are frozen, unsure how to handle the situation, and just then, Enoch O'Connor, the reverend of this place, steps in from outside. Scully is quickly redirected back to a snake at the floor, uncomfortably close. Still, they are frozen as the animals coil and flick their tongues. Noticing the fear in the agent's eyes and the rigidity, and not immediately offering assistance, instead the reverend asks them sharply, "By what right are you here?" Scully manages to grab her identification and hopes he will assist them, eyes locked on the invaders. Mulder goes the direct route, sheepishly asking, with a hint of demand in his voice, that the man do something about the snakes. You got nothing to fear if you're righteous people. But this doesn't sit well with Mulder, and just in case we're not, please help. Without a care in the world, the man begins picking up the snakes one by one and placing them in a burlap sack. They want to ask him about Jared, and at the very mention of his name, the Reverend offers no real sympathy. The boy strayed from the path and was lost to the Dark One. O'Connor is sorry for his soul, but nothing much else to say. They've come to him because of his manner of death. Multiple snake bites, and they thought he'd have some special insight. Oh, he does, Andrew. It was a test. When the devil aims to test you, you better be ready. And Scully clarifies. Was it his test or yours? The man accuses them of not knowing which side they're on and tells them to leave. And they oblige. Outside, Scully is already fed up with the case. Snakes in Tennessee, thank you, Mulder. Let's arrest him and go home. While he agrees he's the likely suspect, the sheriff's office ruled him out. He was in Kentucky that night. They still have one more clue to go on. Chirp was found dead with a suitcase next to him. Someone has to know where he was going. Any thoughts on that scene?
Yeah, I'm not in love with that scene simply because the snakes got loose is the implication. I don't think that this is their security system, just to let the snakes run wild in the church. Because I got to imagine, like, that is not a fully sealed environment. Like, snakes are going to find a way to get out. And you kind of want, like, they trap the snakes. They have snake boxes.
Yeah.
So what they're implying, what they're casting Enoch O'Connor as, is this guy who has control over snakes, and that he used the snakes to fend off the invaders of Scully and Mulder.
Right.
As opposed to the reality, which is suggesting they just got loose. And I don't buy that they just got loose. I know it's a bait and switch because later on, Enoch O'Connor is going to be the good guy, and we're just casting him to be the bad guy for now. But I don't know. In the watch, I was just like, okay, then the snakes are loose. It's all about the snakes. I get it.
He's a good guy, but he haphazardly controls these snakes with really shitty boxes.
Yeah, exactly. I will say that there is one lucky snake wrangler who made $1 million on this episode, because it's all snakes all the time, baby.
Yes. Would you do this episode, Andrew? Would you fuck with snakes?
I am not into snakes. My brother was into snakes, but I am not.
Yeah?
No. Especially if they're in any way venomous. I mean, that's just taking your life in your hands right there.
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
Considering how fast they move.
I, in fact, don't like the staple remover that shows up in this episode. After
it's
seeing
funny
that,
because, I've always thought that looked like fangs, but
clearly
I guess
the
it may
writer
have
of the
been
episode
subconscious. It was probably subconscious remnants from this episode.
Probably it is. Sorry, the other aspect of this episode, of this scene in this episode, I'm not totally in love with is they make a big deal of there not being lights. Like they couldn't find the light switch, and Scully
There's
quips,
never lights.
Yeah, well, she says, the light switch was probably 10 miles ago, and like implying that there's no electricity in rural Tennessee, and maybe there isn't, but there are clearly lights on the outside of the church that we see when they are leaving. And later on, when we come to church, there are going to be plenty of electric lights. So,
Oh, yeah.
they're just idiots, is what we get.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. They don't have authority to be there, so they can't fuck with anything.
That was the other thing, is that I'm not going to yet beat the dead horse of why is the FBI here, but if they are gathering evidence to form some kind of prosecution or, press charges against somebody for these snake-related deaths, they're not doing a great job by breaking into the church.
Well, it's just the X-Files way.
It is totally the X-Files way, but...
digging up graves. And
yeah, this is not the first time they are going
no
to
paperwork.
Not follow police procedure, but it's pretty sloppy.
Well, very true.
Yeah.
Very true. We go now to Blessing Community Church. The congregation convenes for Bible study. Iris gets Gracie something to drink and goes to the Reverend. She mentions Jared called the boarding house the night he died, asking to talk to Gracie, but she didn't let him. It was after 2 a.m., and he sounded drunk, ranting about something, seeing the devil and paying for his sins. She doesn't know how to tell Gracie, but she couldn't have known that this would happen, that he would die. He offers his assistance in the matter, but they are called to start class. We're going to cut to Signs and Wonders at the same time. They have their own service. The room is packed with all manner of man, woman, and child. Arguably, this is a much more lively affair, with guitars, and Reverend O'Connor's loud sermon. He walks around with an open Bible, surrounded by believers. Revelations 3:16, "'Tis better to be hot or cold than lukewarm." The congregation reaches high into the air and praises the Lord. God will vomit you out of his mouth for being lukewarm. God hates the lukewarm. Cut back to Bible study. Scene is calm and innocent, as Mackie reads the same book. "Because you are lukewarm, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." It can sound harsh depending on how you read it. Listening in is Iris, who is working on pamphlets, diligently pulling out staples with the staple puller. O'Connor's next scene is closer to a tent ministry than a church. He presses his right hand on a woman's head as she convulses to his words, "God wants you on fire." He pushes her down into a chair, and as the congregation praises him, he says, "God wants you to put your money where your mouth is," rapping on his Bible. O'Connor is sweating from his performance. People ask me why I handle snakes. Because the scripture tells me to. He begins convulsing, shaking wildly, lurching over and back upright, arms outspread as if something within him was being set free. It's now that he gets the box of snakes, one in each hand, as he continues praising God. The crowd with him all the way. Cutting back to Iris and her snake-like staple puller, something's wrong. As she continues working to pull another staple, the device quickly transforms into a snake's head and bites her hand. O'Connor distributes rattlesnakes to his congregation. The group is jubilant, playing guitars, praying, and shouting affirmations. "Witness the power," he cries. He ends with a fierce thank you to God, and the camera slowly dissolves into Iris cleaning her wound in the church bathroom. When she reaches for the Band-Aids, a snake slithers up from the sink. A few more appear by the exit, and she can't escape. Frozen with fear, she eyes the one in the sink, which is approaching her, and it lunges.
I don't want to run by this scene just yet because
You go ahead.
Yeah, I was really into this moment. I thought it was very cunningly written that we had two different communities reviewing the same Bible passage and interpreting it, both
Different ways, yeah.
differently in how they were going to deal with the implications, but also structurally how their service or how their conduct in the actual gathering is going to be. And I liked that sort of interplay between the two elements. When they had the snakes come out and she's using the staple puller, I thought that's a really nice visual comparison. I was like, I was very much on board with what they had created. And I thought, oh, it looks like a snake. Good for you, episode. When they made it literally turn into a snake and a bitter, I was like, this had zero reason for being. Like they did not need to do that.
It's a little on the head.
It is so on the head. And I was like, oh, whatever goodwill you had with me is now gone because of this dumb decision to make a bad CGI snake come out of your staple puller. It was such a beautiful, simple moment, and they took it too far.
That's fair.
To the point that they didn't even need to be there because she's going to get properly killed later by snakes in the bathroom.
But he has to get her to the bathroom.
She can be washing her hands. There's a bunch of reasons why she could listen.
Well, what if she never goes to the bathroom?
Yeah, she just keeps it all in. That's the way it works for that woman.
Maybe she doesn't go to the bathroom now. He obviously wants to kill her now for whatever reason. He cannot wait.
I'll get to that, but Mike, let me tell you, if the script demands somebody goes to the bathroom, they go to the bathroom. You don't have to what if that. You can write it so.
I guess.
So that then leads to my next question of why on earth Mackie actually needs to kill Iris.
Don't get me started.
There's zero reason. She literally goes to Mackie and says, I have no reason why, no idea why he called me. He was all upset, and I didn't let him talk to her.
It's a loose end. You know what, Iris, if you hadn't come up to him, you'd be alive.
I disagree that she needed to die
She
Mackie-
doesn't need to die.
No, there's zero call for her death because she literally says, I don't know why he was calling me. So I think if anything, like she is an ally to Gracie and Mackie can use her to keep
Right.
Gracie in line. So why she's killed it makes zero sense and it just draws more attention. But anyway, that's not what they wanted to do with this
our
episode. They wanted another
criminals,
cool
Andrew,
snake death.
Our criminals are not infallible. You know what?
That
They all
is-
have a downfall.
That is for sure. I
And
mean,
this guy wanted to snake kill Iris for no godly reason.
he wants to snake kill everybody is what he wants. So
He does.
yeah. He's
Wow.
he's the snake devil, apparently. All right. The lady was never going to make it out of the episode. And we've seen her
No.
before. She's a great character actor, too.
She's a great actress.
Yeah.
She plays Dwight's nanny in The Office.
Okay.
And she plays Phoebe's homeless friend in season 1 of Friends.
Right.
She's in so much stuff.
She's
much
that,
stuff.
She's
in
face, for sure.
She's in Signs and Wonders, season 7 of The X-Files.
Is she? I had no idea.
No, she is one of those actresses who shows up everywhere.
Well, now that there have been 2 deaths, it's now a serial murder. So now the FBI can
Now
actually be
the
justified
agents-
to be there.
Okay.
Thank goodness they just happened to be on the scene.
Well, later on, the agents finally arrive for the first time from the FBI, and Iris is being wheeled out.
This is where the episode begins.
Mulder speaks to the Reverend. She didn't know Jared that well. He actually had just spoken to her about him just before this happened. She was upset. Jared called the night he died. The conversation, however, was interrupted. Scully, in the meantime, is checking on Gracie, who doesn't understand why Iris had to die. She agreed. Scully tells her they're investigating O'Connor, the Reverend of the other church. She defends him, though. He didn't do this. This is Satan's work. And Scully notes that the statement sounds like something O'Connor would say, yet you left his church to freely think for yourself. Gracie says she, of all people, would know. And Mulder puts the pieces together. O'Connor is her father. This complicates things. When Gracie got pregnant, he barred them from the church and his home. Oh boy. So he is not happy that little Gracie Sue, got busy with Jared.
Well,
When they're completely of age.
yeah, we're running out of actors with lines, so the spotlight is now on one of 3 people: Enoch O'Connor, Gracie, or it couldn't be Father Mackey because he's too nice. So it's got to be Enoch O'Connor at this point. But we're halfway through the episode. We're not even halfway through the episode, so it can't be Enoch O'Connor. So our bait and switch by process of elimination is that it's actually Gracie, which would have been more interesting. Or
I
it's
feel
Father
like I got in this conversation last night with Libby and my stepson.
Mm.
But I'll go over that. at the end of
Okay,
the
final
episode.
thoughts.
It's
coming
not.
up?
It's got nothing to do with this episode, but
Okay, excellent.
what the point you were just making. So
Okay.
later on that evening, about 3 hours later, at 10:06, the agents go back to Signs and Wonders after hours, flashlights in hand. Scully understandably waits by the front door and then quickly decides to check out back instead of going inside. Mulder continues to nose around and sees a wall of dedication to parishioners lost. He sees a frame of a woman named Alice O'Connor. Interesting. Out back, Scully looks around and sees another building, a trailer. She unholsters her gun and cautiously enters. Inside, she sees cages of white mice falling all over each other in their glass containers. And then boxes and boxes of rattlesnakes caged up.
I'm glad she chose the safer path.
Yeah. As she turns to head back out of the trailer, she is accosted by O'Connor, who grabs both her arms. The two struggle, and he knocks her weapon out of her hand. Despite the struggle, he gains the upper hand and presses her head down to one of the boxes containing a rattler, a thin wire screen, all that stands between her and certain death. He takes one of her hands and begins forcing it into the box as a test. You must be judge, he snarls. Her hand enters the box, but Mulder yells to let her go. Gun drawn. O'Connor obliges. And we now go to the McMinn County Sheriff's Office.
Your FBI partner could have learned something about herself if you hadn't have stopped me. Some powerful good news, maybe.
I'd say it's good news for you that she's not here right now, considering what you tried to do to her. Is that what you did to your wife? Alice O'Connor succumbed to multiple snake bites in June 1994. It happened during a church service. Or at least that's what you told local police. You got away with it. Almost. What was the problem with your wife? Was she not righteous enough for you? Just like your daughter's boyfriend? Or Iris Finster?
Educated man. Too smart to know any better.
Smart enough to know you're a murderer.
Satan is near and you don't even have eyes. You're just proud and fancy-free.
No one quite passes muster with you, huh? You feel the need to exact some kind of Old Testament revenge? What about your daughter? What were your plans for her?
I pray for her soul. I pray and I pray because she's lost.
Because she no longer believes as you do?
It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/MagusMedia, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support. Oh, man. Well, outside the interrogation, Gracie sits with Scully. She's changed her mind. She doesn't want to see her father. Scully asks her if she still believes he wasn't involved. Gracie doesn't know, but she says it doesn't matter. He will be judged. Nobody can avoid that, and walks away. Later, in his cell, O'Connor sleeps, but something awakens him. He slowly stands and turns towards the iron bars, takes a knee, and we hear the rattles of snakes in the darkness. Quietly he prays, panting not in fear but in determination. Out of the darkness slithers a snake. The faithful man opens his arms and looks up to receive his test. Cell covered in snakes.
Classic.
Oh my God.
Can we just go back to the investigation of the Church of God at night?
Mhm.
Why would you need to do that right away? Why not wait till
It's
the
Mulder.
next morning?
It's because it's Mulder.
It's friggin' Mulder. Maybe they only got a search warrant for nighttime searching.
I doubt they even had that.
I know they didn't have that. Finally, this is Agent Scully has the strength to fight off Donnie Faster, but she cannot fight off Reverend Enoch O'Connor.
Oh, so we're going there. Okay.
We are totally going there.
Maybe. It's only been 2 weeks. Maybe her muscles are still sore. Maybe she's not at full capacity yet.
Not at peak efficiency. Yeah. The better version of that scene is a snake gets loose and she's cornered and he's going to just be like, I'm not going to help you. You're about to have your own test. As opposed to...
Yeah.
I know that they need to get him in jail.
They have different ways to do that. I don't know. I mean, he's not guilty of anything until he assaults Scully.
They could have found
he's
some
the
kind
good
of evidence. They could have found some kind of evidence that be like, you know what, we're taking you into custody. That would have been like he's framed up by Mackie, and that's the easy way out.
My problem is that he's eccentric, right? So he's just a
little
kooky guy who believes in the Old Testament Bible rather than the fancy new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But you just turned him into a criminal.
Yeah, I know.
By assaulting Scully. So do we really give a shit if this guy's being framed?
He's guilty of something, that's for sure.
God. I can't like him by the end. It's like, no, I don't know.
Well, and then the interrogation between him and Mulder.
Yeah.
Where he pulls an orison, basically. It's like, I'm going to answer your questions with semi-religious scripture. I'm going to talk to you about how it's a fight between good and evil, and you know what side you're on, etc. It's like, can't you just answer one goddamn straight question?
Just answer the fucking question.
Yeah.
That's why you can't talk to these people.
Yeah, fundamentalist, honestly. No, I like the actor playing. Like, the role is so solid. Like, he is...
Michael Childers, he did a great job.
Amazing. Like, this is the thing, right? You can hate the character and love the performance, and he's definitely an example of that. But man, what a weird decision to bring that character that way.
Well, we cut to the hospital where O'Connor lies, bloated, bruised from the venomous strikes of hundreds of snakes. Mulder stares, bewildered as Scully comes in. He was found about an hour ago. She comments on him being less of a suspect now, unless maybe he did this to himself. It's 50-50 as to if he will survive, and Gracie has stepped in, whether legal or not, to refuse medical care on religious grounds. It's what he would want. Scully has her doubts this interpretation of duties is purely out of her father's will. Maybe Gracie just wants him to die. She also offers another theory. She was O'Connor's child. What if she did this? She may be as adept at handling snakes as he is. Throwing old Gracie onto the fire there, Scully.
Well, we're running out of characters with lines, so it's good. And we need to draw out as long as possible before we can put the spotlight on Mackie. So,
I think the perfect ending for this episode would literally be everyone in the episode is innocent, and we see Satan rappel down from the ceiling going, ha ha!
It's just a giant snake outside going, you never saw me coming, did you?
It's a twist. No.
Yeah, no, that's not how this episode's going to turn out, unfortunately.
Well, they go to Jared Chirp's residence and nose around a bit. Drawers are pulled out. The room is in disarray. He indeed left in a hurry. He left fast, Mulder says, with a suitcase and a gun. He was afraid of something. They get into a conversation about the culture of O'Connor. Scully says he was trying to get away from an intolerant culture. Mulder says, well, it does have its upsides. A clear set of right and wrong, black and white rules. It's not such a bad thing if you're lost and someone comes around offering you all the answers. It's a surprising argument, and Scully rightly points out that the argument coming from Mulder is intriguing to say the least. He spots a crumpled piece of paper by the waste bin and grabs it. Opening it, he sees it's a medical document. Lab results. Jared was found to be infertile. He can't be the father of Gracie's baby. This was dated the day he died. Was he killed to cover the truth? Back in the hospital, Reverend Mackie visits Gracie, who stands over her father. He's tried a few times to get her to reconsider helping him. She's steadfast in leaving it up to God. But he appeals to her one last time. Leaving it to God and faith can come in many forms. Science and doctors being that form right now. This helps Gracie reconsider, and by the end of the conversation, she reluctantly changes her mind. The Reverend leaves the room. O'Connor's monitor begins beeping faster. Suddenly, venom and pus begin oozing from his bite wounds, and a terrified Gracie turns to run, but before she can, the incapacitated man grabs her arm firmly. We quick cut to the agents arriving at the hospital. The Reverend is talking to a doctor. Gracie's missing, and O'Connor is also missing from his bed. He was only gone 5 minutes. How did they do this? Mulder gets out one last prediction that is out of left field, Andrew.
What?
When Scully asks how she got him out of here unnoticed, he says maybe he took her. So he just predicts that out of nowhere. He has no reason to believe
Wait,
that
are you
man
saying he has some sort of exceptional ability? Some sort of
Oh no, it's just deduction, reason.
greater than normal power, one
I would
say?
call it guesstimation.
Mm. Mm.
I think it is out of left field, but I mean, any logical human could come to that conclusion.
Only
Human.
Mulder could come to that conclusion.
All right.
I wonder about Mackie in this moment, why he is taking the tact he's taking with Gracie to compel her to.
Yeah.
Just, there's no good reason for it other than to sort of cement him as the good guy.
Right. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Let O'Connor take the fall for all this stuff. It'd be super easy, but
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe he's going to say that and then go over the doctor and say, you know what, she wants to, we're looking at medically assisted death here is what she's at. And he's in too much pain. Let's move this along. She signed off on it.
I mean, give us some indication of that. You don't
No,
have
we
to
can't.
outright say that, but no, he's
Too early.
acting way too nice
Yep. Can't do it.
to be the
He's-
bad guy.
The bait and switch has not yet been pulled, so we have to continue on this charade of him being the good guy.
Yep. Well, we're going to slide right by Mulder's little prediction there. Aside from that, his motivation, as the Reverend says, is that Jared is not the father of Gracie's baby. The agents put that nasty picture together. Reverend O'Connor, her father, is the baby's father.
Oh,
That's why she wanted to get away as fast as she could. Oh my God.
Oh man, Tennessee is so wrong, apparently.
Yep. Well, it's Tennessee. It's the South. So there's got to be some hint of incest somewhere in the script. Apparently, that's what Hollywood thinks.
That's all that Hollywood thinks of Tennessee, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Okay. We go now to Signs and Wonders. The door slams open. Gracie is being forced in by Enoch. Inside the church are parishioners lined against the walls, each of them holding a candle. Fear washes over her as she begs everyone for help. They simply stand and watch as the man forces her to the head of the room. He dunks her head under a tub of holy water for 3 seconds and puts her on the floor. The audience helps hold her down as he grips her stomach firmly. He prays for her with fierce and frightening vigor. She cries to all of them as he unbuttons her dress to reveal her stomach. Instead of a round, pregnant belly, we see uneven shapes just under the skin moving and thrashing.
Perfectly normal.
Yep, totally. Gracie continues to ask for help, but her water breaks, and between her legs comes not a baby, but a tangle of living snakes.
Perfectly
The
normal.
crowd cry, "Dear Jesus," and hallelujah. The next day, the agents arrive. Gracie is unconscious, being attended to by EMTs in the church. The congregation is being questioned by cops, but they're not answering. Scully asks where the baby is, to no answer. But Mulder has been pulled away by something horrific. There's a pool of blood where Gracie lay in the previous scene. Radiating from that pool are several writhing red strands, evidence of snakes slithering away.
Perfectly
She
normal.
gave birth to snakes, Andrew.
I have as a note in my little summary here. She's please don't let this be an Antichrist thing. Something's wrong with my baby. Is she full of snakes? Yes, of course she is.
So that was like real-time notes with Andrew.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
is
going
this
to be
really
our
gonna
next
be-
segment.
I think
That's our next segment.
yeah.
Our
it's-
bonus episodes are
not commentary tracks, but just the sort of stream of consciousness as we watch. There's
get
probably
to
something
know
to it.
your hosts in the purest of forms as they watch these episodes over and over. I'd watch that. I'd listen to
Yeah,
that.
we could. Yeah,
Son
sure.
of a bitch. Oh, well, we go back to Reverend Mackey's church, and he prepares for another service. But Reverend O'Connor enters, and the two get into a war of ideology.
You stole what was most precious to me.
Gracie, she came to me on her own. She wanted to escape a life of fear and judgment, of intolerance. She fled a harsh and vengeful God. And you.
Freaking Bowie knife there. Holy shit.
O'Connor pulls a fucking Rambo knife out and threatens the other man, grabbing him and whipping him onto his back against the podium. But Mulder enters, gun drawn, and threatens O'Connor to let him go. Instead, O'Connor attempts to plunge the fucking huge knife into the man's chest. But Mulder shoots his shoulder, disarming him and saving Mackie. In the ambulance, Scully rides with Gracie. She wants to see her father. Scully says, "You're safe now," but she misunderstands, and Gracie says, "He saved me." Mackie now supplies Mulder with some wraps for the man's wound. He comforts O'Connor, who tells him again he doesn't see what's happening. Help isn't on the way. Be smart here, Mulder. And he points to Mulder's heart. Mulder then goes to Mackie, who's in the other room making the phone call. Without words, Mulder draws his gun, taking Mackie aback. "It was you. You killed Jared." Mulder sees it clearly. Jared wasn't the father, but he found out that you were. He had confronted him earlier that night, and so you killed him. Same with Iris. They were catching on, or was it all just to frame Enoch O'Connor, to destroy him by any means? After a moment, Mackie reveals himself. "Are you a righteous man?" Most people believe they're on the side of angels, but are they? The doors of the room slam shut. Suddenly, Mulder's gun is a rattlesnake. He throws it, but a gun clatters to the ground. More snakes. Coming out of his suit jacket. He rips it off in a frantic fashion. Scully comes in to see O'Connor. She asks where Mulder is, but just then she hears his cry for help from the other room. O'Connor grabs her and tries to keep her back. This is his test. She breaks free and runs to the door, but it won't open. Scully begins kicking it repeatedly, trying to break in. Meanwhile, Mulder is on the ground, surrounded by snakes. One snaps at him and bites his neck as Mackie watches. Scully then successfully breaches the door to find Mulder lying on the ground by himself. At the far end of the room, she sees a snake leave through the door and tends to her partner's wounds.
I hate everything about this scene. I just need to drop this little bomb right here.
Okay.
To begin with, there is really no good reason for Mackie to reveal himself in this moment. There's no evidence anymore that he was the father of baby, because that baby's been, I guess maybe he doesn't know that the baby was unborn.
Right.
But all that to say, I think that he's got a pretty good chance of being, even if Mulder brings him in, I'm going to arrest you and bring you in, I don't think he's going to get prosecuted. I don't think there's any evidence here for anybody to do anything. I think this is just the end of Mulder's career.
Not unless his thumbprint or fingerprints are just snake bellies. There's no way to tie him to anything.
Yeah, maybe. I do not like that suddenly Mackie has extra supernatural powers to make the doors and windows close. That just sort of dropped out of nowhere. I'm fine with him. I'm actually fine with him having control over snakes. I guess that's the shtick. That's his deal. But because we don't get to see this until now, and this is a stylistic choice that they make as writers, do we see the villain earlier on in the episode? Do we see them exhibit their power, and then we are on the inside track of who's doing what? No, They don't do that in this case. They decide they're going to drop it at the 11th hour. He's the villain. This is the big reveal. The bait and switch that we've all been waiting for is that everybody we thought could be guilty up till now has been innocent. We've been looking in the wrong place. It's been in front of us all along. It's Father Mackie, the nicest guy in the episode. Oh, what a betrayal to us all. But there's no real great payoff on there. It's like suddenly he is literally the devil, and you have to then look at all his motivations for what he's done. And I don't really see it all making much sense. It's like, why did he have a baby with Gracie? Like, what's the relationship there that we don't hear anything about? You know, Gracie certainly didn't cop to it.
Right. I feel like there should be a reason why he chose Gracie, and what that has to do with anything. Or is it just he's the devil and banging someone who is betrothed, or at least the girlfriend of someone else? That's just bad enough. Seeing as you skipped to final thoughts,
I'm sorry, I really shouldn't. I'll let you finish it off, and then we'll circle back.
No, there's really nothing to finish off.
It's fine. There's the world's worst denouement coming right up.
No, it's not that bad. It's coming.
You describe it for us, and we'll all get to determine whether it was
well,
good or
later
bad.
on, Mulder's at the hospital. He's doing fine. He sits in the bed as Scully arrives. There's no trace of Mackie. Everyone's out looking for him, but Mulder's certain that no one will find him. People are looking for the devil, thinking horns and a tail, but no one thinks to look for a kindly man telling them everything they want to hear. He smirks and says if this was his test, I failed miserably. But Scully counters with the opposite. You passed with flying colors because you're going to be okay. And the two exchange a smile. From here, we go to Hamden, Connecticut. A beautiful, ornate stone church. Inside, Mackie, who now goes by the name Wells, is meeting with someone from the church. She is beside herself with joy that Wells is the new reverend. She just wanted to welcome him, and when she leaves his office, Wells/Mackie pulls out a box from his desk drawer. He opens it and lifts a small white mouse by its tail. He leans back in his chair and opens his mouth. Instead of placing the mouse in his mouth, a rattlesnake head climbs out and snatches the mouse from his hand, disappearing back into Wells' throat. Credits.
Wow, that ending was so good. It gave me chills to think that he's been a monster this whole time, and now he gets to have his own episode, a sequel episode later, where he gets to do even more evil. Or we can imagine him in that world again. How great that we have that.
I mean, just to think that Mackie's out there somewhere right now.
Chilling, honestly. We haven't had a good case of the writer being so attached to their villain that they have to give them the extra scene at the end. You know,
yeah, it's been a while.
The dude in the air ventilator saying, "I'm just dying for a cigarette," or the machine turning on again despite being unpowered and Ghost in the Machine. You know, we haven't had one of those for a good long while, so I guess it's all our old favorites coming back again.
This one did feel, towards the end there, it felt like it had a hint of Die Verlitz.
How dare you, sir? How dare
I don't mean
you.
In quality. I mean,
dare you compare it to that glorious episode?
You hate that episode.
I both love and hate that episode.
That poor mouse. I feel so bad for that mouse.
Well, the bad CGI snake kind of put it over the end for me. It's like, okay, I get, like him just eating the mouse would have been fine, but the snake emerging from his mouth to eat it and then going back in, it's like, oh right, yes, it's all about snakes. I almost forgot.
So I'm just gonna shot in the dark here.
Yeah, go for it.
Didn't like this one.
Well, let me think. On the balance of, absolutely did not like this one. Yeah.
Okay.
But are we into final thoughts now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm sorry I'm keeping you up beyond your bedtime here.
No, you're good.
To me,
where that came from.
This is not a great episode. For the longest time, I was stuck on why the FBI would even be there, or how Mulder would come to know about this case, but that's just me. For once, we have a religiously themed episode, which is not all about Scully, which is kind of refreshing, but I really can't be motivated to care, as I'm not at all sure what they're doing here. It's been a long time since we got a case of a villain being pre-written for a sequel, but I doubt we'll see Father Wells ever again.
Interesting. Well, the only thing I'd push back against is why the agents are there. I mean, if you're going to take that stance, then 75% of the cases don't require their attention. There is a level of we have to go with what Mulder deems necessary.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that's part of the show. I mean, they've even done it, like, for your example, either this episode or last week's episode, where you mentioned Scully talking about, did you read this newspaper article?
Yeah.
That is the perfect example of should we even be here? Like, there's no real reason for the FBI to be involved. And I'm okay with that because this is Mulder's project. They have greenlit the X-Files to investigate whatever he deems necessary and if the AD signs off on it. So I'm okay with it.
Yep. There's just a lot that's not said where they even had a little tacit hand waving in previous episodes that gave us a bit more backstory as to officially why they're there. Because they are still FBI agents. You know, you have to imagine they have other cases, other responsibilities. And, you know, there are still other more pressing things for Mulder. I mean, I know we're post-syndicate now, so he's not all about the aliens, but the question of his sister is still out there. I don't know. When you create a character who is so driven towards a goal, when they're not doing something that's in service to that goal, it's almost like, why are you not doing that thing which you've told me is important? So when you go off to do a case which is investigating vanishing snakes, and again, we're looking at it in the virtue of having 11 seasons of content to review. In the 90s and 2000s when this was coming out, it was very much, and this is the adventure they're going to have this week. You know, we weren't even in a state where we were thinking about sort of episodic within an overall context TV. Very much we were conditioned to, they're going to be doing something different every week, and we're fine with that. But this was one of the first shows that kind of pushed against that, you know, where we did have ongoing story elements, or we did sort of know things about our characters. And we love that about this show. So when they don't do that, it draws attention to itself. And I guess in this one, it felt very much outside something that I think Mulder would be interested in, something that I think the FBI would be interested in. So the question of why they're there sort of comes up, and it's never explained satisfactorily to me, which is why I go on about it. I guess I don't have to, but it's there. So I do.
It wouldn't be an episode of our show if you didn't.
Hey, now. It's not always like that.
No,
what are your final thoughts?
I get it. I get it. I mean, kind of on the same page as you. I don't hate it. I don't think this episode is dog crap or anything. I'm just not sure how to feel about it. For the most part, I think it falls together nicely. And when I say that, I mean, it makes sense. There are elements I don't understand, like Iris dying. Or
I
to
did
die.
not need that. Didn't make sense.
The overall niceness of Mackie, like we talked about, is a little bit, it's too nice to the point where he's actively kind of going against his nature. Like there's no reason to do that except for our benefit, right?
Yep.
No reason to spare O'Connor's life if that's who you're trying to kill. So whatever. Okay, we're just going to breeze past that one.
I think that he survived though because he has the experience of being bitten by snakes, and his miraculous pushing out of the venom is clearly his power. So
that's his power. We're dealing with two people with super crazy powers
snake
now.
Power.
Yeah. So that came out of nowhere. And again, I would like to point out that Mulder had no reason to believe that was even possible, but he did.
Yeah.
The other hand is the writer's message. I don't know if we're supposed to take from this anything like, the New Testament is for pussies or tent ministries all the way. I don't know what his message is.
Yeah.
Other than, not everything is what it seems to be. And that might be all his messages. It may mean nothing religiously, but the message I kept getting pounded into my head here was the New Testament sucks. God is not friendly. It doesn't care what his methods are. You better believe in him, kind of thing. It's like, calm down, pump the brakes.
It's definitely about trying to subvert expectations, right? Like the nice guys are bad and the bad guys are actually trying to do the right thing, all in a weird way. I mean, I can respect that as an idea, but I think it was handled clumsily. And it's the episode kind of suffers from that thing of a dwindling pool of suspects, which I think is the point you were going to mention later, which is just that as you lose characters, as they're dispatched, you run out of a pool of suspects till you're left with
becomes a mystery.
2. It's like, well, it has to be that one because it can't be that one.
This guy is so obviously evil that it's not him.
Exactly. And you almost get a sense of the timing of an episode. Like you bring him in for questioning halfway through, can't be him. It's just, or there's going to be a big plot twist of his escape or something. But
either that or we know the answer, like in Push. Like he is the bad guy and there's no doubt. But here there was doubt. So it's like, well, they brought him in halfway through the episode. This can't be him.
Part of it is this is a very old school style of episode where you've got a problem, the agents are dispatched, they're picking up clues, there are a number of deaths, progressing through the episode or attacks through the weird vector, and then it has a climax with the finally revealed bad guy. And it's actually quite rare that the X-Files goes along that path. Like they have done some really interesting styles of episode where who the bad guy is from the beginning. And I'm thinking of the fast food monster killer, who's got the eating disorder, basically. And, that made that show very interesting in that trying a different style. So when they go back to the original format of like, this is how we used to tell stories like this, it almost feels kind of weird. That could be a thing.
I could see that. Where you were going with, we were talking about how nice Mackie was going.
Yeah.
Or being. I was, strangely enough, in having a conversation with my stepson and Libby last night because we were watching Stranger Things. And I messaged you about it. And
you are really a dog with a bone on that show, aren't you?
No, I don't dislike it at all. I think it's a fun show. But I was just thinking Andrew the whole time. I'm like, wow, there's really no stakes in this show. You're not afraid anyone's going to die. But they countered with, okay, well, this character dies and this character dies. I'm like, yeah, but this character was so nice. You knew he was going to die. He was either going to play by the rules and die, or he was going to play by the rules and be the bad guy in disguise. And so I felt like Mackie being so nice, it's just so obvious. And we feel it the whole time. Like, I don't know. It really seals the deal when he tells Gracie to save O'Connor. It's like, you are so fucking nice that you have to be the bad guy. And I understand it kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but I mean, when you watch it once, you're like, okay, yeah, that all makes sense now.
I kind of wish that they had chosen that moment to because they're doing this giant bait and switch, right? Like all along, our agents have been casting about trying to figure out who the bad guy is. And, it's not O'Connor. It then gets to a point of like, maybe it's Gracie, but they don't let us go there. They just can't, the writer cannot bring themselves to fully engage with the idea that she is the guilty one. You have a little bit of conversation between Scully and Mulder saying, well, she knows about snakes because she was raised in that, maybe. So if anything, they could have gone a bit more whole hog on Gracie to say that she's maybe the bad guy that's been responsible. Yeah. And that would have made the bait and switch better. But they never let us get there because almost immediately she's kidnapped by her father and has the big pregnancy thing. And which I also wonder, it makes for a nice, gory, scary scene, but it's also super fantastical and takes it in a direction we didn't quite imagine it going. So we never have time for it. But I think it would have made for a more interesting move, and it would have made Mackie make more sense as the nice guy.
Right. Well, I think we should leave it there. We've dissected this one enough. We have slithered around the episode and bitten off some key nuggets and key complaints.
Very good. Very good.
I think we should leave it here. So in the nature of our show, please, if you have any final words, let us know.
Only that Tennessee is probably a much nicer place than is represented in this particular episode. And if you're an American looking for some tourism options for this fine fall season, consider blessed Tennessee. There are a lot of things to see there, and they'd love your tourist dollars. Thanks, and have a great evening.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilespod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.